Hey guys, I am gonna show you hair tutorial for youth, junior 1, junior 2. First we're gonna go over the supplies that you kind of need to gather up and make sure that you have for the day of. We're gonna start with a bow box. The bow box is important to keep your bow fresh and not have it smashed in transportation. I also throw most of the other goodies in there that I can fit in there. Regular brush to get your pony up. Ponytail holders, we have kind of discussed that we think some of the bigger, thicker bands may be better to stack with our bow this year. Hairspray, I've got a heavy hold and a touchable. Harper's got a lot of flyaways, so I try to spray those as we go. Teasing brush, our beautiful bows, bobby pins, and either a curling iron or a wand for hair this year. Okay guys, this is gonna be step 1. Just kind of a prep before you start. If your athlete has super curly hair, try to run a straight iron through it, pull some product through it, smooth it as much as possible. We are gonna do a little bit of curl at the end, so it doesn't have to be stick straight, but your teasing will be a whole lot easier if you get some of the curl out. And then I'm gonna show you how to position the ponytail because the ponytails are really high. One trick that I figured out last year that made it a whole lot easier for us, which Harper's hair is curly, but is once I started pulling her ponytail up, I actually physically stood in front of her when we got the ponytail smoothed out. And see, she's got a lot of flyaways, like I said, so I will probably spray a little as we go just to kind of smooth some of this out. She loves the hairspray. But I kind of work it from the front angle because that'll really help you get it positioned where you need to. So really kind of the rule of thumb is going to be get the ponytail on top of their head. We really want to secure it about 3 fingers from their hairline. So up pretty high. I mean, you don't have a lot of space in between their forehead and where the ponytail lies. Smooth out those flyaways because we want those pulled back. And then I'm gonna use the big thick bands on hers because her hair is pretty fine. So I wanna be able to stack my ponies to be able to keep the bow up. So I kind of make them to where they stack a little bit. Even that's still kind of far back, really. And then bow will go next. And we're putting this side down. And then for just a little bit of extra security, because the bows are pretty big, I'm gonna stack one more ponytail holder on top of the stack. That'll kind of secure that bow so it won't be on top. It'll kind of keep it from going anywhere. And then I pull it tight. You want to turn the back of your head. So she's got a pretty good stack of ponytail holders on there. That'll be a good base for when you start teasing. Okay, so step 2, you've got your pony in. I already went through and kind of sprayed lightly all of her baby hairs. And then I'm just gonna take my teasing brush and really kind of smooth all those baby hairs up into the pony. she's got a lot of little flyaways up front. So we just do the best that we can in getting them really smooth up against the head because the ponytails are very tight. We don't want anything hanging down. And then I'll go back through with my heavy hairspray and really just secure them down. If you need to, you can always take a bobby pin and place it up here underneath where the tease will be to kind of keep those flyaways smoothed in. Okay, step 3. Now we're gonna start the teasing process. The easiest way to do it is to actually pull your ponytail in small sections and start from the front of your ponytail. So you're gonna start small, thin sections. This very first one, I'm not going to tease real far out to the ends because we're gonna need those ends to kind of waterfall over, but I would definitely start from the front and work your way back because that's gonna give you a better base for your tease, and you wanna use small sections. The bigger the section is, the harder it's gonna be to get your brush all the way through. So I'm gonna just demonstrate a couple of these first row. And as you're going, you're flipping them up, and then as we get done teasing, we're gonna kind of flip them back down in a waterfall. So I'm gonna kind of go in a pattern basically. So first one, you're just really working that hair down. Like I said, I'm not gonna go too deep into this first one because we need those ends. But then the next row, I'm gonna sit still. The next row, I'm gonna take another little section. And in this section, I'm actually gonna split it into 2. Really tease that base. And then sew on down the head, or down the ponytail, I should say. Okay guys, so this looks like a crazy mess, right? I've got almost all of it done, but like really, she doesn't have a ton of hair, so I really wanted to get a nice nest of hair in that underside. So I'm gonna show you the last section of the underneath. And as I'm going in and teasing, I'm going a little bit deeper with these under sections because that's what it's gonna all lay on. So I'm going front side and back side, but then still leaving the ends of the hair out to kind of rest on. So now we've got it all done. It's all teased, right? It's crazy. So we're gonna start bringing it down and spreading it all out. And if you need, it's almost better to over tease and then be able to kind of smooth the ends as opposed to under tease and try to go back in and tease more. So see, I've got a little bit too much on those ends, but I'm kind of waterfalling it out because the ponies are gonna be a big shape. So I'm pulling these back and kind of smoothing the ends as I go. Like I said, Harper doesn't have an obnoxious amount of hair, so I really have to kind of make sure that hers spreads out because she does not have a ton of hair for the density. So here's the middle section. I'm starting to really smooth, and I probably should be spraying too at the same time. Can you look up? If I whack my child, just ignore it. So as I get to the front, I'm gonna start spraying because we wanna hold this nice, smooth, spread out ponytail. Right now I'm spraying with just the light spray because we're gonna go back in and pop some curls through those ends. Now with this part, I'm gonna smooth out the front because it's gonna lay over the top of the rest of our tees. Like I said, she doesn't have a crazy amount of hair and she wiggles But at this point, you should have a pretty good nest here. If you have a child with a ton of hair and you need to kind of secure the teasing nest that you've got underneath there, that's where you can take some bobby pins and secure underneath. I'll show you. Like if they've got a lot of hair spilling out the sides, you can take your bobby pin and poke it through your big massive tease on the underneath and slide it into the ponytail so that that kind of locks it into place. And like I said, she doesn't have a ton, but I know there's some girls out there that have tons and tons of hair. So you really want to tease that underneath as much as you can. And make sure too, when you're putting your ponytails in the first place, you really want to make sure that those are tight, because if you get all of this in and you've got it all sprayed and it's all pretty, and then she gets there for warm-ups and she's, you know, doing back handsprings, walkovers, all the stuff upside down, and this loosens up, it's gonna be really hard for the coaches to fix that on the fly. They're gonna have a hard time getting through that tease to tighten that ponytail. So really make sure these are tight before you start, like almost to the point where your kid's telling you it's too tight. Probably not tight enough. But now that you've got everything smooth, then we'll cut to show you the curls. That's not bad, sis. All right, guys, so this year we're gonna do our straight pony, but our ends are gonna have a little curl to them. Hairstylist that doesn't have a curling iron, but you can use wand, curling iron. If you can do a curl with a flat iron, anything that you really can do will help too in the first competition, just to kind of make sure we've all got it. But we're really gonna go in and just kind of curl the ends so that the ends have some curl to it. I'm gonna take, because she's got not a lot of hair, I'm gonna kind of take both layers. So you don't want to curl before you tease, because you don't want this part to be curly. We want this to straight into some nice waterfall curls. Those of you that have a lot, or whose athlete has a lot of hair, you're obviously going to be a little more curly than this. But I've already secured too. I sprayed the top with my heavy hold hairspray so that I'm not undoing the smoothed out part as I go. Like I said, curling iron might be a little more curly. I unfortunately don't have a curling iron right this second, but I personally will probably bring a curling iron, the wand, and the flat iron all with me in case anybody needs to borrow a tool. I'm always overly prepared. So see, we still have the nice tease in. The top is straight, but we have some curl at her ends. And then if we need to kind of piece it out afterwards, the coaches can help you kind of finish it off and get that look. But if you can get it to this point, you'd be doing really good. And then there won't be a whole lot left for hair, just really kind of spraying again and making sure that that tease is staying tight.